Nope, it was on edit.
Edit, yeah.
No.
We promise we'll get faster at this.
Yeah.
Just like you will get faster at this.
And maybe even the web will get faster.
And yeah, this problem is because the internet goes for a second. What?
So your parents can watch. You better be watching. Is anybody leaving today to go to another sport? No? Okay.
What sport do you have? I don't do anything. That's a real thing. It is. People play video games for a living.
Thank you. All right, Mark. What class are you guys? He says in boy.
Yeah, boy. Also here. Yeah, that's a dude. Yeah, I do body and guy.
Hey, James, can you sit? Yeah, normal, so I just make sure we can see.
Oh, yeah. You're sad.
All right, yeah, so bear with me. So I'm going to keep track of how many concepts each of you get correct, and I'm also going to keep a running total for your teams as well. We're not really necessarily playing to a total number. We'll just go through our 24 toss-up questions, and then we'll take a minute break or something like that. If you need to sharpen a pencil or use the restroom real quickly. And then we'll come back, and whatever time we have left, that's when we'll move on to our bonuses. We're going to go through the 24 toss-up, and then after that. Well, but usually we would do our bonuses after each toss-up. So it'll go a lot quicker. All right. Let's make sure everybody has their green lights on their buzzer.
Yeah.
Let's just do buzzer test, I guess.
No.
We don't have to introduce yourself, but we'll just go around your loop there for each team. Noah. Good thing we talked to. Make sure your cord is pushed in all the way. No, I think you're connected to her. Make sure you're pushed in all the way. Kate, are you pushed in all the way with your? There we go. Kate. Anakin. Perfect. All right, round the horn, Jack. Working. Perfect. All right, here we go, guys. So excited. Concept number 1 is social studies current event. In 2020, an Irish court ruled that each piece of this company's sandwich, Noah, that's correct. It's actually a roll because it has 5 pounds of sugar of bread, and there's a lot more to that question, but Noah already knew it. 10 points. Team B. All right, concept 2, language arts spelling. A student who skips grades in school is often precocious or extra smart for his age. Spell precocious. Yeah.
Precocious. P-E-R-C-O-C-I-O-S.
Incorrect. August.
P-E-R-C-O-T-I-O-U-S.
Incorrect. It's P-R-E-C-O-C-I-O-U-S. All right, your next one is a 30-second question. Finally got my timer and done. Mathematic Algebra. Everybody have a pencil? Awesome. Solve for x and y if 3x plus 4y equals 30, and 5x minus 2y equals negative 28. All right. That's a tough one. X would equal negative 2, and y would equal 9.
You need to go way more down.
Please ask every participant the silence. I like to
I
not.
know, but, oh, we didn't talk about video
I like to not. I like to not hear the question.
I did stop, I paused. Good, all right. Our next one is science, general science. After earning a Rhodes Scholarship and studying law as his father requested, he got a job at the Mount Wilson Observatory, where in 1923 he found that the M31 nebula was 1,000,000 light years from Earth. Identified as American astronomer whose namesake law says that the universe is always expanding and whose namesake telescope still investigates that expanding universe. Jack? That is correct. Good job, only saying the last one. 10. Fine arts music. The man singing this song mourns the death of his girlfriend, who drowned while taking her ducklings to the water. Though the man wishes he could swim so he could have saved her, he soon forgets about her after falling in love with her little sister. Name this American folk song whose darling title character wears size 9. Noah? Clementine, yeah. Oh my God. Good job. 2010. The daughter of a gold miner and is now lost and gone forever. Miscellaneous video games is toss-up number 6. A bug in this game's original edition is rumored to have been left in as a joke forever. If you select Mahatma, Gandhi as your leader and achieve democracy, he then becomes the leader most willing to use nuclear weapons. Noah? That's correct. Name a classic video game whose newest 6th version includes fighting Cydia and ball packs, so you can match wits with more of history's greatest leaders. That sounds fun. All right, toss-up 7 is language arts literature. Said to speak only in poems, he owns 2 wolves and 2 ravens and was able to read runes after hanging on the world tree for 9 days. He will be eaten by the wolf Fenris when the end of the world, or Ragnarok, comes. Name this chief Asir god, Aesir, a one-eyed deity who presides over Valhalla, Death, Odin. Correct. In Norse mythology, that is Odin. I probably butchered trying to do those names. Social studies history, toss-up 8. As a result of this case, Congress became able to compel people to testify before it. Investigated by Montana Senator Thomas Walsh, it led to prison for former Interior Secretary Albert Falk, who suddenly got very rich from taking bribes. Identified as 1920 scandal, named for the Wyoming landmark near which Fall illegally leased federal oil fields to private oil companies. back a little more than 10 seconds. It's the teapot dome. Concept number 9, language arts vocabulary. In elementary school, it can refer to a student that helps the teacher by being in charge of something. In middle or high school, it can refer to an observer who reports problems. Give this 7-letter word that can also describe a type of large lizard and can even mean a screen for a desktop computer. Tyler? Monitor is correct. It's 30-30. Concept 10, miscellaneous sports. During his time in Chicago, he was the first player on his franchise to be selected as the NBA's most improved player. After a year in Minnesota, he went to the playoffs with Philadelphia, only to be knocked out by Kawhi Leonard's series-winning shot. Name this former Marquette star who led his Miami team to the 2020 NBA Finals before losing to the Los Angeles. Tyler? Correct. Don't do the last name. 40-30. 11. Social studies, current events. After a childhood in Louisiana, she attended Tennessee's Rhodes College and then Notre Dame Law School, where she was number 1 in her class and later taught while serving as a judge. At her hearings in 2020, she praised the late Antonian Scalia and quoted Elena Kagan. Name this potential Supreme Court justice. It is Barrett, Amy Coney Barrett. Concept 12 is language arts literature. It features a man standing between 2 children and is named for the British publisher who put out a Little Pretty Pocketbook in 1744 as part of his initial foray into children's literature. Name this medal given each year since 1922 to the most distinguished contribution to American literature for children. Jack? That is correct. Newbery Award. 50-30. Concept 13 is science, life science. His book on Mendel's genetics is considered the first on that subject. And he crossbred chickens until their color was the only thing needed to detect male or female. Identified as this British scientist, whose namesake square is still used to predict the resulting genotypes from crossbreeding. It is Punnett, the Punnett square? Reginald Punnett. I thought you guys had done that already. Concept 14, miscellaneous popular music. At the 2020 Billboard Music Awards, he was given the first ever Billboard Change Maker Award for his activism. Name this rapper and host of the Netflix series Trigger Warning, whose 5 solo albums include I Pledge Allegiance to the Grind, and whose 2020 album, RTJ4, was his 4th, with his Run the Jewels partner, Jamie L.P. Maline. It is Killer Mike or Michael Render. Might be happy that you guys don't know that. Concept 15 is social studies history. Oh boy. Herodotus said that this king's mother was both his father's wife and his father's niece. He was selected to lead Greek forces against the second Persian invasion of Greece. Name this Spartan king who challenged the Persians to come and get the weapons of him, for him, and his 300 Spartans at the Battle of Thermopylae, where he... Anakin. That is correct, Leonidas. 50, 40, you guys have 40. Miscellaneous consumer science. Bermudas are red, pearls are small and white, scallions are green, and Vidalias are sweet. These are all types of what vegetable that comes in brown and large white varieties and is sold at some fast food restaurants after it has been cut into rings and deep fried? Isabella. Onion is correct. Back to a tied score, 50-50. And it's a 30-second question. All right. I'm going to take my math down for this, those percentages. 44% of the residents of a city moved in from somewhere else. 77% of the residents own a car. 89% of those that moved in from somewhere else also own a car. What percentage of the residents of the city either moved in from somewhere else or own a car, but not both? Tyler? Incorrect. All right, it was 32%. On here they have 44 plus 77 minus 89. To give you 32%. That's my 10 minutes or 10 seconds. All right, science health is concept number 18. Name and letter needed. The 2020 Nobel Prize in Medicine was shared among 3 men who discovered this virus that causes which specific type of what liver disease? I start over. Science health. Name and letter needed. The 2020 Nobel Prize in Medicine was shared among 3 men who discovered the virus that causes which specific type of what liver disease, often contracted by drug use? It is hepatitis C. All right, fine architecture. One building by this architect was a brick cylinder with slits for lighting. This designer of MIT's Craig's Auditorium also created Ingalls Rink, a whale-shaped ice rink at Yale University. Name this native of Finland who followed his father, Elio, into architecture and who also designed St. Louis's Gateway Arch. Last name was Saarinen, Eero Saarinen. Oh, we have mathematics, another 30-second question. This is geometry. The surface area of a pyramid is the area of the base, plus half the product of the slant height and the base's perimeter. Find the surface area in square inches of a pyramid whose base is a rectangle 6 inches by 8 inches and whose slant height is 10 inches. Wow. That's a lot of math for 30 seconds. You have to do 48 plus your product of 1/2 times 28 times 10. It'll get you 188 inches squared. That's a lot of math for 30 seconds, guys. All right. Go back to 10 seconds. All right. There we go. Social Studies Geography is concept 21. In 2020, this country became the first to offer free buses and trains everywhere throughout the country. This country, whose capital and language share its name, is home to the European Union's Court of Justice. Considered the world's only sovereign grand duchy, which small nation is east of Belgium, north of France, and west of Germany. Noah? Incorrect. Jack? It's actually Luxembourg. Good guesses, though. All right, concept 22 is science, physical science. It was called fire air when first discovered because its presence allows combustion to take place. Identified as most common element in Earth's crust that is released during photosynthesis, whose allotropes include ozone, and that makes up about, August? Oxygen, good, about 21% of the air we breathe. 50-50, 2 more toss-ups coming up. Language arts literature. This novel includes several people who can communicate by telepathy, a group of cranks, a group with the acronym WICKED, and a boy named Thomas. Noah? Incorrect. Whose tattoo identifies him as someone to be killed by Group B. Name this book whose main characters must traverse a burned out area of land, the second book in the series that begins with The Maze Runner. Jack? Nope. You know what, Noah? The Scorch Trials, yeah. Good preempting, though. All right, social studies, civics. Section 4 of this constitutional amendment allows Congress to provide a body to help evaluate the health of a president. Identify this amendment that also specifies that if a president dies, the vice president takes over. Yeah. Incorrect. Oh, okay. Broad amendment number. It was 25th amendment. All right, so that is 24 toss-ups. So we'll take a little break here. Sharpen pencils, grab a drink, grab a bathroom break, and go check. I have a message from a parent on the live feed. See if this set it down.
Well, it seems pretty live. And I think 11 people are watching. That's exciting. I know. You'll have to ask.
Okay, positive power. Like right when I was
Okay.
going to say civilization in Boston. Right as I was going to say civics.
Not like it's finally one.
What? Yeah, bonuses, those will be 10. It is 60 to 50. Aw. I do know for sure that Tyler and Jack's family is watching, and Rebecca and Michelle's family is watching. I know, but they'll be able to watch the replay.
I just talk about it.
Absolutely. Are we ready for bonuses? All right. Mentally, no. Physically, I can buzz, but. All right, our first bonus is miscellaneous sports. Name the Major League Baseball teams most associated with these Hall of Fame players who died in 2020. So we'll have 4 questions that are about that topic. Number 1, second baseman and TV analyst Joe Morgan played with this National League machine that reached the World Series 4 times in the 1970s and won twice. You have 10 seconds. So. Tyler. Incorrect. It was the Cincinnati Reds. All right, toss-up 2, or all toss-up 2, whatever. Part 2. Pitcher Whitey Ford spent 16 years with this team in the 1950s and 1960s, winning 6 World Series. Tyler? Yankees is correct. Okay, start guessing teams that have 1 World Series. All right, part 3, second baseman Lou Brock and pitcher Bob Gibson. Brayden. Yes, St. Louis Cardinals. All right, part 4. Al Kaline, the first player for this American League team to have his number retired, played his whole career there from 1953 to 1974 after winning a batting title at age 20. What was your answer?
White Sox.
Incorrect, but good guess. Brayden. It was the Detroit Tigers. All right, our next bonus category is social studies geography. You're going to answer these about construction projects in China. Part 1. This structure's construction began during the Qin Dynasty to unify smaller barriers, but its best known portion was built by the Ming Dynasty. Yeah. Correct. Great Wall of China. Part 2. Built to connect the Yangtze and Yellow Rivers, one of this object's Chinese names refers to its linking Beijing and Foshan. It is the Grand Canal. Part 3. Rebuilt in the 1880s for the Dowager Express Shishi, this seasonal building is preserved in a Beijing park that includes Longevity Hill and Cumming Lake. It is Summer Palace. Last part for this section, the Sundial building recently built in Shandong province is the world's largest building to use only this power source. Noah. Solar power. Correct. Solar power. Yep, the sun. Oh, the score. 70 to 80. All right, our next section of bonuses are mathematics, general math. You're going to give me the pairs of consecutive integers between which each of these values fall. I'm going to give you a value. You're going to tell me the pair of consecutive integers that go on either side of that value. Number 1, the square root of 29. Jack? Incorrect. The answer was 5 and 6. So square root of 29 must be 5.5. Does that make sense? Yeah. Part 2, the cube root of 1,157. All right, this one is 10 and 11 for your answer. I'm going to give you 20 seconds for now, and I'll let you a little longer probably. All right, part 3, 4 times pi. James? Correct, good, 12 and 13. Part 4 is 10 times the square root of 3. Yeah? Incorrect. It was 17 and 18. Now, you notice like all the other answers had 2 numbers? At least you're going to guess for 2 different numbers. All right, next bonus section is science, general science. Back to 10 seconds to answer. And this is your clue for these questions. The 2020 Nobel Prize in Physics went to 3 scientists who have long studied this astronomical phenomenon. Part 1, identify this phenomenon shown by Roger Penrose to contain a singularity. Black hole. I bet they give you other clues how you'll figure that out. All right, part 2. Penrose showed the phenomenon to be a consequence of this scientist's general theory of relativity. August? Einstein. Yeah. Part 3. The 2 other prize winners have discovered the phenomenon at the center of this galaxy, important to Earthlings. James. What did you say? Sorry. Milky Way is correct. Sorry, then. Part 4. They found it by studying this galaxy named for a zodiac constellation. Zodiac constellation is Sagittarius, and that galaxy is Sagittarius. Oh, you're welcome. The letter. You know what it is? More specific? No. The Sagittarius A. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, it's really hard to hear that. Your next bonus questions are language arts grammar. Your clue is give the most common adjective used to describe each of these sets of pronouns. All right, part 1. My, your, their, her. Hurt my feelings. Possessive pronoun. Part 2. Himself, itself, yourself, They all have self at the end. You look at yourself in a mirror with your reflection. They are reflexive pronouns. Part 3. Who, what, where, how. Audit. Correct. Interrogative pronouns are asking a question. Part 4. Anyone, somebody, nobody. Indefinite, because I don't know who we're talking about. Or 90-100. All right, our 6th category of bonuses are fine art. Write down the 4 painting terms. I'll write these down. Hue, H-U-E, tint, tone, and shade. Now tell which one is described by each of these definitions. Part 1. Create one of these by adding black paint to a basic color. Rebecca. Incorrect. August. It is shade. Create one of these by adding white paint. August. Tint is correct. Part 3. Create one of these by adding both black and white paint to a basic color. August. Tone is correct. And part 4. This is the term for a basic color with neither pink. Hue is correct. Wow, you guys know your art. All right, your next section is Mathematic Algebra. You're simplifying each of these expressions that contain exponents into lowest terms. We still have to do some math, though. We'll see what 20 seconds does. All right, part 1, x cubed to the 6th power. Isabella. You're active. To the 12th. Incorrect. Yes. James. X to the 18th. Yep. All right, part 2 is 2x quantity cubed divided by 16x squared. One half x. 1 second, not long enough. Only another part 3. 5x times 9x to the 4th divided by 15x to the 8th. August?
3x to the 12th.
Incorrect. Tyler?
X to the 2nd.
Yes. 3x to the negative third. Good try. It said 3 over x to the third. All right, last one. This is doing great. That was tough. 7x squared times 8x to the 8th. Tyler?
56. 56 as the 60.
Incorrect. August?
56x to the 10th.
That is correct. 56x to the 10th. Impressive, you guys. All right, 130 to 120. This is, hang on, I'm gonna go back to my pen. Social studies history. Your clue is, in the 1860s, it began marketing itself as a spa town on the road between Milan and Paris, and its Royal Hotel hosted England's King George V. All right, part one. Name this French town that lends its name to a popular bottled water of today. James. Incorrect. It is Avion. Part two. A ferry boat across Lake Geneva connects it with this country city of Lausanne. August.
Yeah.
Incorrect. Switzerland was the answer. A 1938 conference there set up to discuss this group of refugees ended without anyone agreeing to take more of them. Thus, the Nazi persecution of these people was helped by no one. Jack? Yep. Who helped? No one else wanting to help them. All right, part four. The 1962 Accords named for the town recognized this African nation's independence from France. Jack? Incorrect. August?
South Africa.
Algeria. Time for one more category? All right, it is 130 to 130. You might just have to do a toss-up tiebreaker. Science, life science. Name these trees that use forest fires as part of their reproductive cycles. Part one, this tree species called Jack uses fire to open the otherwise hard to open cones that contain its seeds. August?
Spruce.
Incorrect. It's a pine tree. This species of California tree, famed August?
Redwood.
Incorrect. This species of California tree, famed for its age and height, also has hard to open cones that can only be opened by fire or by ravenous insects. James? Sequoia is correct. All right. Good guess. Redwood as well. Part three. The paper or white variety of this tree in the eastern U.S. grows better than after a fire than its other types like yellow and river. James. Incorrect. It was a birch tree. And I'm not gonna even ask this next one because it has the answer in question. All right. Oh, that's not really back there though. Do one more random one here then. Surely, we have a pop up here. Okay, we'll do this question here, see if we'll get score there, 140 to 130. Social studies current events. Name the states whose 2020 U.S. Senate races feature. Part 1, an incumbent Republican, Tom Tillis, and Democrat Cal Cunningham. James? Incorrect. August? Incorrect. It was North Carolina. All right, and that concludes our match of Pod B and A. A wins by 10 points, 140 to 130. Jack ended up at 5, James 5, Trevor 4, August 7, Noah 4, Andrew 1, Isabel 1. Good job, guys. All right, let's go ahead and put buzzers up on this front one here. Thank you, online viewers.
You should know how to pronounce after they say one word.
Okay, August 9,
You can find out. Yeah, you can find all you want.
time trees. Oh, yeah, with the cone. Yes, always buzz.
I should have gotten the one with Amy Pointer.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. So, you know. So, it's too late.
You were on roll there.
The only reason I know the hit is
Oh. I knew you. Good strategy, good strategy. You did, and honestly, I would have heard reality.
What it really is,
So this
pain
is
you
not
to wait 2 more
Wednesday.
seconds for the thing.
really kind of.
It doesn't matter. I remember the first match. It doesn't matter. I can remember it right now. and it doesn't matter. Oh, it literally had itself. Ray literally said that I have things. What, you not paying attention? Yeah, of course.
That's okay. You keep moving. You're just gonna be all the better for having all those tough questions in sixth grade. I'll just help you along here.
I was like, hydrogen, but it was hydrogen, and you get on fire.
And we go back to
Oh, yeah, okay, Anna, can I put this camera in there?